The words were small, but they hit him like a kicked gate slamming shut. The giant cowboy froze, one hand still wrapped around a rail, because no one had ever asked him for anything that honest before. Her boots were too big and tied with twine. Her hair was a mess of sun-bleached tangles that had never met a proper brush. She stood there in the dust like she belonged to it, chin lifted, eyes steady, looking up at a man who made grown men step aside without thinking. Most people in Dry Creek didn't talk to Luke Calder unless they had to. This little girl walked straight up to him and rewrote the rules. Luke hadn't planned to stop in town that day. He'd meant to water his horse and keep moving. Dry Creek was a place you passed through, not a place you stayed. Too many memories clung to its boardwalks. Too many looks followed him like they were measuring how much damage he could do if he decided to. "You need a wife," the girl said again, slower this time, like he might not have heard her right. "I need a dad." The world seemed to tilt. Luke stared down at her, mind blank. He was built like a barn door, shoulders scarred, beard rough, hands that could break a man's grip without trying. He'd buried more people than he could count. He'd outlived a woman he promised not to. He did not know what to say to a child. "Where's your ma?" he asked finally, voice low and careful, like he was stepping onto thin ice. The girl didn't answer right away. She shifted her weight, dust puffing around her boots. "She's tired," she said. Real tired. That wasn't an answer he liked. Luke crouched despite himself, joints complaining. He was eye level with her now. "What's your name?" "Maggie," she said. "Margaret, but only when I'm in trouble." He huffed despite the knot tightening in his chest. "Who told you to say that to me?" "No one," she said. "I just thought it." "That's dangerous thinking," he muttered. She studied him, head tilted. "You look lonely." The words slid under his skin. He straightened too fast, as if caught stealing. "You shouldn't go saying things like that to strangers." "You ain't a stranger," she said. "You're Luke Calder." He flinched. Everyone knew his name. It usually came with a warning. "Your horse is named Ash," she continued. "You don't like crowds. You eat alone when you can. You live up past the ridge where the creek bends." He stared. "How do you know that?" She shrugged. "People talk. I listen." That made sense. Children who listened too much usually had to. "Where do you live, Maggie?" he asked. She pointed toward the edge of town, where the houses thinned and the land gave up pretending to be friendly. "With my mama." In the little place by the cottonwoods. Luke knew it. Everyone did. A half-collapsed shack that smelled of sickness and wood smoke. He'd ridden past it more times than he could count and never once slowed down. Until now. "Come on," he said gruffly, already regretting the word choice. "Show me." They walked side by side, her steps quick to keep up with his long stride. She talked the whole way, like she was afraid silence might change his mind. She told him about school she didn't go to anymore because Mama couldn't get out of bed. About soup that was more water than anything else. About how Mama used to sing before the coughing started. Luke listened with a jaw set, so tight it ached. The shack was worse inside than he expected. Maggie's mother lay on a thin mattress, skin pale, breathing shallow. She tried to sit up when she saw him and failed. "I'm sorry," the woman whispered. "She bothers people." "She doesn't," Luke said. It came out sharper than he meant. The woman studied him, as too knowing for someone that tired. "You're Luke Calder." "Yes, ma'am." Maggie climbed onto the bed and curled against her mother's side. "I told him what we need," she said proudly. The woman closed her eyes. "I see." They didn't talk long. There wasn't much to say that mattered. Luke left with his chest burning, and a promise he hadn't meant to make echoing in his ears. He brought food the next day. Then medicine from the doctor in the next town, paid for without asking the price. He fixed the roof. He chopped wood. He pretended he was doing it because it was the right thing, not because Maggie waited for him every afternoon like she knew he'd come back. Her mother died 3 weeks later. It was quiet. No drama. Just a long breath that didn't come back. Maggie didn't cry right away. She sat on the floor with her hands folded, staring at nothing. Luke stood there uselessly, had his hands, wishing he knew how to fix this too. "She's real tired now," Maggie said finally. "Yes," Luke said. His voice broke. "She is." The town handled the burial. They handled paperwork too. the kind that came with words like orphan and placement and state. Luke listened from the back of the room, fists clenched, until he realized Maggie was looking at him. "You promised," she said softly. He hadn't. Not in words. But something in his chest had already signed the contract. "She can't go with you," a man said. "You ain't kin." Luke stepped forward. The room went quiet the way it always did when he moved like that. "She's coming with me," he said. "I'll make it legal." The man swallowed. "You married?" "No." That was when Maggie spoke again, loud and clear. "That's why I said he needs a wife." Luke froze all over again. It took time. Paperwork. Arguments. A woman from the church who came by and eyed Luke like he was a dangerous animal. A judge who asked too many questions and finally ran out of reasons to say no. Maggie moved into Luke's house with a single bundle of clothes and a tin spoon she insisted on keeping. The house felt wrong with someone small in it. Fragile. Luke found himself lowering his voice without thinking, moving slower, watching corners. He learned how to cook things that didn't involve fire and salt. He learned that children asked questions with no intention of accepting easy answers. He learned that nightmares sounded like his own name whispered in the dark. "You ain't leaving, are you?" Maggie asked one night, eyes wide, fingers fisted in his shirt. "No," he said, and meant it so hard it scared him. "I ain't." The wife part came later. Her name was Sarah Whitlow. She was Maggie's teacher before school stopped, the woman who had brought books and soup and stayed longer than was strictly necessary. She came by one evening with papers Maggie needed for school and stayed for supper. Luke didn't talk much. Sarah noticed everything anyway. "You're doing good with her," she said when Maggie ran off to show Ash a drawing. "I don't know what I'm doing," Luke admitted. "That's usually how it starts," she said. The town noticed. They always did. The giant cowboy with a little girl perched on his shoulders. The way he listened when Sarah spoke. The way Maggie held both their hands like she'd planned it all along. "You still think I need a wife?" Luke asked Maggie one night. She considered. "Not if you don't want one." "And the dad part?" She smiled, slow and sure. "I already got that." Luke looked at the stars above his land, at the house with light in the windows, at the life he never thought would ask him to stay. He didn't freeze this time.